Okay, guys. So let's start weathering. We've done the basic design shapes, and now we can do the weathering, because you can't do weathering and then the design because you'd be painting over the weathering, and that doesn't make sense, not to me at least. So yeah, let's start. And when I was making my test model last night, I simply created the chips and the scratches with a brush, just making slashing motions and kind of dotting little bits of chipping and flaking of the paint, you know, so-called the paint of the hood here, just with a brush. But this time I think I'll use a sponge. See this? I have this sponge here, and I kind of hacked it up to make it look a little more uneven and random. And similarly to what I did last night, I'll just dip this into the paint and kind of take off a bit of excess and then dab it on the edges. And I think we'll get a result that feels a little more natural and random rather than painting it. But let's see. I've done this before, but I'm still a noob at this, so we will see how the results turn out. So I gotta use these two paints. I'm gonna use Kaldor Sky and Frostbite, and that'll be the lighter color of the chipping. So let's start. Mission start. Chipping start. I want to get a decent amount of it onto the palette, because I'll be wiping off the excess. There we go. And then we'll get we'll mix up some of this Frostbite. I can show you the palette, and I've already shaken these paints. I think a little bit more. Alright, that's probably enough. Is this too much? I don't know. Is this not enough? Okay. Just trying to take some of the excess paint. Working on Gil today, Mary Trunks. Do you play Gil much? Oh wait, is Gil playable in that game? I actually had no idea. Or is he just a boss? Okay, so let's get a piece of paper here, and we'll dab the excess off. So let's get some of this paint on the brush, and we'll see how this goes. And let's do a test here. Yeah, see, it makes random marks that feel a little more natural than if a human were to simulate the marks. And another thing I might need to do is kind of insert a little piece of tissue to cover up some of the detail on the bottom, so I don't get that. It's a little ghetto. There you go. That makes sense to me. Alright, let's try. Ooh. And the key for me, for doing this at least, is not to overdo it. There's a tendency to kind of it's like, this is looking good, and then you kind of just dab it too much everywhere. So I think that's a start, and we can kind of work our way around to the rest of the model, and then we can come back to the other areas to see if we need more. And I'm just trying to cover up the shuriken catapult here. Shit. Let's see. Okay, there we go. There we go. Sorry guys, I'm not sure if you're actually seeing this. Just trying to lightly dab it. Okay, that was bad. That's too thick. So we're just gonna flood the area with water and scrub it off. If you make a mistake like that, just yeah. Just flood the area with water and kind of scrub it off with a dry brush. Alright. Because I'll have to move on to another model, or another part of the model, because I did that, and we have to let that dry. Gil is mad fun. Goro, I'm enjoying this with the spread of wine and cheese. Damn, what kind of cheese? What kind of wine? I'm not a big wine guy, but I like learning about things like that. What kind of cheese? I want some cheese. Okay, we might need to go in with a brush to do some of this weathering, because it's a little hard to get to all the areas that I want. Just dab it off. You want to dab it too, by the way. You don't want to make swiping motions. Yeah, I think I like the result of this a lot better than hand painting it. Hand painting the weathering. It feels a lot more natural. Because when I'm trying to make the weathering and the chips by hand by painting it, you know, you're trying to create a random effect, and humans aren't really good at reproducing randomness. We are always trying to create order out of chaos. So if you use a brush, a sponge like this, you can more easily replicate random effects. Cabernet Sauvignon with my Warhammer stream Monsieur. Yeah. That'd be funny if it's like a whole new genre of YouTubers and streamers enjoying some wine. See, I'm a little more confident about controlling this sponge here now, so I've dismissed the whole masking part now. The other thing is, as you're dabbing it, you want to rotate the sponge, just because if you dab it one time and maintain the same angle and dab it again, you'll repeat the same mark twice, and again, that's not random, right? You gotta constantly change the angle. And that's looking really good, actually. This is looking a lot better than even the second one, so that's pretty cool. This is all supposed to emulate the look of like nicks and scratches, like on a car. Like the paint is kind of chipping off, and so I'm kind of focused on the front of the vehicle as it's traveling, right? And we're gonna go back and add some slashes too, some long scratches. But again, the key word is not to overdo it here. Don't want to overdo it. Bacon, and I guess he is in a certain version of SF3, but of course he's banned in tourney? Oh, really? Guild is banned in tourney, huh? Okay, I think that's good enough. Again, the name of the game is not to overdo it. As I proceed to continue to overdo it. Okay. Okay. Let's clean off this sponge thing. I guess we gotta let it... I'm trying to clean it off, but the paint is stuck on it. Guess we gotta smush it. So I could use it again another day. Handy painting tool. I just have this pierced on a bamboo skewer. But I've seen people just use tweezers. You know, they just have like tweezers and they grab this thing and dab it that way. But actually, I should probably get some tweezers for the gunpla hobby. Okay, so now we're going to add the scratches to the model, and for that we use a brush. Make sure it's coming to a fine point. I bonked my head on the camera there, sorry it shook. And you want to make some practice slashes on your nail or whatever, and then you can just there you go, there's one. I'm kind of making this motion, but I haven't touched the model. And you just want to kind of slowly bring your brush closer to the model until the slash shows up. There it is. And again, this is all meant to sort of reflect the model, the angle of the model kind of coming forward and picking up scratches. And I think it dried. The paint dried. Let's get a little bit water. Mix it in here. And test out the paint on your nail. And then go back to making the slashes. Okay. Again, I don't want to overdo it, so let's move on to the other side. Okay. And again, you're sort of following the direction of where this model is like flying in space, right? So, and I'm trying to make the scratches go into the designs as well. And again, I don't want to overdo it, so it's centered around the edges. Technically, it could probably even extend up to the upper part here, but I'm not really doing that. I could try it. I think it might not look good, but I could try. And that's probably enough there. The other thing that I'm trying to stop myself from doing is like evenly spacing out the scratches. Again, that's a thing where it's just a natural human reaction to like line, 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 just in a very spaced out way. It is even kind of spaced out here, but really it should be kind of like concentrated in a single area and then like a little bit elsewhere. It's just a lot more random looking, but it's just hard to do sometimes. Grinding for fight money? So Mary Trunks, have you actually used fight money to purchase all your DLC characters, or did you actually just straight up buy them? I would be very impressed if you actually used fight money only. So I put one line more on the upper part of the hood, and it looks okay. See, I was a little afraid that it was going to look crappy, but yeah, we can, maybe I will end up doing that. Let's try and get a nice, comfortable angle as we draw the next slashes. And now I'm more comfortable with, like, the paint, so I'm kind of being a little faster with this. Okay, move on to here. Okay, not bad. Night Trap is lurking. Enjoy your lurk. Mary Trunks, you accidentally purchased the stage? How can you accidentally purchase this stage? Like, that's funny. Is it a nice stage at least? There's no confirmation or anything? Are you sure you want... Oh, no. They don't confirm? They just snatch your money like that? Maybe that was intentional, right? They intentionally made it so that people could make mistakes and steal their hard-earned fight money. But yeah, do you buy your DLC characters, or do you earn them through fight money? Alright, so now I'm going to go back and kind of add more chipping by hand. Just a little bit. There's a bunch of other weathering techniques that I'd like to experiment with that I'm going to be doing more with my security mech. But I haven't gotten to painting that yet. Actually, I wanted to paint it today, but I was like, I think I'm close to just doing all of this. Like, I'm close to finishing these guys, so I might as well do that. But yeah, there's a lot. The world of weathering is deep. You can go really deep with that stuff. It's really interesting, actually. Okay, so now that we've done this first part of the weathering, of the chips in the weathering, we're gonna take a lighter color, an even lighter color, and kind of pick out a little more details. We'll follow the same lines and just kind of pick it out in an even lighter tone. And that's sort of the light. That's sort of intended to be the light shining the hard, sharp surfaces of the nicks and scratches. You know, originally in February I had some plans regarding all the things I'd like to do, the projects I'd like to finish, but ultimately I kind of wasn't able to do as much as I intended, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Get around to all those things in due time. Also, February is a shorter month. I kind of forgot about that, despite despite my birthday being this month. I made kind of a thick line, but that's okay. We can fix that up. Bacon got summoned. Hope you didn't miss too much. No, I'm just working on the wear and tear. I don't know if you saw me using the sponge there. I was going in with the sponge. And now I'm kind of adding an extra layer of highlight to the chips. Just selectively. Oh, you missed it? Oh. Well, see, here's my like little brush tool. And I dipped it in the paint and took off some of the excess. And if you look at the patterns here, this is sort of like the pattern that you want for your chips, right? And that's how it looks on the model. Just dabbing it, not doing a stroking motion, but a dabbing motion. And dab, dab, dab. To create these random chipping kind of effects. And then I slashed. I was slashing with a brush to create the longer scratches. And now I'm kind of reinforcing the random patterns made by the sponge by picking out little details with a brush now. So you sort of take what was randomly placed by the sponge and you kind of accentuate it now with the brush. And again, the reason why you kind of want to combine? The reason why you want to combine using a brush and the sponge is because the sponge gives you that randomness that is just hard to replicate by hand. And then you go in with the brush to highlight and accentuate what was created randomly. So that is pretty okay. Pretty very good. And we'll have to do this one more time to the other model. And the key here is not to overdo it. Like, I always have to remind myself, like, it's fun to make the scratches and it looks cool, but if you overdo it, it's gonna look shitty. Especially, like, these are Eldar, like, they're kind of known for being more sleek, but I figured this is a good time to kind of experiment with this technique. And it kind of makes sense, too. Because these are Jetbikes. They're going to be speeding along, and they'll be picking up some scratches. I mean, they're flying in the air, so they probably wouldn't get that much scratches. But, anyways, I just thought it looked cool if they were going to be flying low. And yeah, sorry guys if I'm not checking the chat too much, because I'm trying to focus here on this. I'll check soon. Okay. Yeah, so that's looking pretty okay. Here, I can check now. Oh, nothing really changed. Yeah, you don't have to get this highlight everywhere. You just want to kind of mark it out little bit by bit. And now here's the next thing. This is the part that actually makes the scratches look really good. Is you take something dark, you take some dark paint, and you're gonna find your scratch. Huh, shit, I dropped my brush. You find your scratch, and you're gonna draw the same line again above it, and that's actually the shadow. And it looks pretty cool. But what I should do actually is take some blue paint. Some blue paint and mix it into this black instead of just using straight up black. Because that'll actually look more like the original paint of the model is coming through. It'll look like a more natural shadow, I guess, is what I want to say. Okay, let's do a little practice stroke here. And I think I need a little more black, actually. Looks a little too blue. There you go. This is the kind of thing, it's a little time consuming, it's a little... You want to kind of do this carefully. Okay. And I think this brush isn't too good for this purpose, so let's actually use another brush. And I think that I'll get better results. This one? Yeah. Let's try this one. It could be that the paint is a little too thick as well. Too thin? There we go. I can kind of fix it a little later, but that's close to what I was looking for. And sorry if this is not totally visible what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get the best angle for me to actually pull this off. Okay. Now we can go to the other side. I mean, I'm still pretty much a noob at this, so... I should loosen up my grip here. Fuck. There you go. Can go always kind of go back and fix it a little bit if it doesn't look right. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now let me do a little bit of fixing up because it's a little messy in the wrong way, I guess. I mean, it scratches. It kind of has to look messy, but it's not the right kind of messy. So for example, this part here, it's the black scratch and the blue scratch is like not aligned. That one I think is fine. And this one here. Okay. Okay. There's a bit more that could be done for that one, but let's move on to the next. It's funny, the whole total concentration breathing thing. Like, I remember reading some tips on how to paint straight lines, how to paint smaller details better, and they do actually recommend that you like slow down your breathing, maybe even like hold your breath, and then paint the line and then breathe, and then do another breath. Yeah, it does take a bit of concentration though. And sometimes I tend to do pretty basic stuff on stream, like base coating models and stuff, and yeah, nothing really too in-depth and detailed, because I like to do that off stream. But I figured let's do something juicy on stream, like the scratches. Let's try it. Bacon, I definitely do that when I used to paint or putting tiny stickers. Yeah, shit. Man, so you're more of a fan of the water slide decals now, right, Bacon? Even so, I feel like there's a bit of nervousness about putting on water slides too. Like, at least for me, I always felt a little nervous about doing water slides. So I guess whether it's a sticker or a water slide, I kind of have problems. Okay. Shit, too much. Okay, that's looking pretty good, and this is actually a nice example of like not overdoing it over here. I think I did a pretty good job of not going too overboard. This one, it's okay. I think between all three they look fine, but this one's the best in terms of like not overdoing the scratches. And I even tried to paint some of the like the design, the shapes here kind of flaking away. Like as if it was painted on and then it was flaking away over time. But I think I might not do that for this for the other models. Maybe at the very bottom we can just do a bit of that. Just like at the edges of it. Like if you imagine it was a decal or a sticker, like if you were to like take a knife and chip away at it. That's what I was trying to do a little bit through painting, but I think I don't need to actually do too much. I think it's kind of nice as it is. I can always kind of go back and do more later. Bacon, speaking of Street Fighter, you guys been following the whole thing with Capcom's new esports agreement? No, I have not. Can you elaborate on that? Bacon, water slides still has the downside of taking a long time to dry. Oh, okay. So you have to really just leave it alone after a while. It's been a while since I've applied water slides, so I totally forgotten. I actually have, yeah. So I have this right here. It's the Jetbike water slides for these models here. I have 3 of these, and I'm thinking about applying one. This is the craft world, the symbol for the craft world that these models belong to. It's called a Laytalk, and that's their symbol, and it would probably go just right here. So I might add that because I think it'll look nice. And I mean, I have them, so I might as well use them. But it's black on blue, and I think that might not really show up all too well. So even if I do apply this, I might have to go and put some paint on top to kind of make it kind of blend in better with the rest of the model. Yellow would look better, but I'm not really sure if any of these yellow ones make sense from a lore perspective, which I know that sounds like whatever, who cares about lore, but I don't know. I guess I care. So yeah, I might actually use some of these decals again because I've had them for so long. But let's take a look here, guys. We've got 3 of these jet bikes and they're mostly done. They're pretty much done. I'm pretty excited about how they turned out. Again, as always, there's some details that need to be added on, and we can do that later. The other thing I was thinking about doing was, if you look here, there's a flag. Oh, actually, give me a second, guys. I think I have what I was looking... Hold on. Give me a second. Okay, let's catch up on the chat real quick. Bacon, I don't know too much about it myself. I just saw a lot of people complaining about it online, and there are talks of some TOs boycotting SF5. Yeah, what's the deal with that? That sounds interesting. I have no idea what that could be that would elicit such a reaction from people. But okay, so real quick, guys. We're actually almost done our stream. We're kind of gonna wrap things up pretty soon. So let's just quickly go over something. So yeah, I've got 3 of these decal sheets, which I'll probably use, and I'll put them on top, and I think it'll look pretty good. I think, maybe, hopefully. And yeah, one for each of those. And here's the larger sticker sheet that comes with the Falcon Graph Tank. By the way, it says right here, Copyright Games Workshop 1994. That's how old these are. It's pretty amazing, actually. This one's from 1997, so somewhat newer, but not really. Still old. This is from the Grav Tank, and I can use some of these stickers for this. There's a lot more variety here, and some of them look pretty cool. So yeah, I might end up using some of these for these instead. And they look really cool. Actually, it says here Craft World, so here's different Craft Worlds. This one I think is Bieltan. This one's Ulthwé. This one's Alatok. This one's Samhain. I kind of remember the names, some of them. Those are each like gigantic planets, floating planet cities that the Eldar now live on. This is the Falcon runes for the actual Grav Tank, representing the vehicle itself, so that wouldn't make sense to put onto the Jetbikes. Warning signs, pilot badges, so that's pretty cool. And this one's neat too. This one down here is kill markings. So like, you know, it's a little icon that you can put on the side to represent that you've taken down, you know, certain kinds of enemy troops. That's kind of cool too. So yeah, I might add some of those to kind of give it a more, just to, you know, add a little more detail, make them look a little more techy. And here's the last thing I'll show. It's the sticker sheet. This is a sticker sheet that these are little banners that go on the back. You kind of fold them over and then they would go on the back here. But I'm wondering if I probably won't use these, but maybe I'll make some other kind of design and I'll hand paint it. And I'll do something else. Maybe like not a banner per se, but like maybe like streamers? I don't know. Would streamers look good? I'll have to think about that. But yeah, so pretty cool. And yeah, I think that wraps up work on these guys for now. So that's about it.